Hi guys, welcome to another video on Unity and building our game mechanics, taking them to the next level. So by now you should have your player moving around, you should have that chair which we can damage, you should be able to shoot. If you can't do those things, go back. It's really important that you can't take shortcuts with programming. It looks simple, copy and paste. It's all lines. No, there's a lot of problems. And instead of being able to do this in 10 to 15 minutes, it's going to take you hours to fix these things. Do not try a shortcut here. This is the easiest and fastest way, is to actually watch the videos. I do not create these just so that I can become the next PewDiePie. All right, I create them for you so that you can learn. So if you are sick, if you are away, if you fell behind, if all of these different things sound like you, do this. Okay, you are responsible for your own ability with programming. Okay, I'm walking around the classroom. I'm providing as much assistance as possible, but there is a point, and you guys are getting very close to that, when you become an adult. And you become very much responsible for what you do and what you don't do. And so I'm helping you, and I'm seeing 90% of students applying themselves, and that's fantastic. But you just got to make sure that whatever you put into software design, the more energy, the more work you put into it, the more benefits you're going to get. It's a win-win. If you work harder in this subject, you're going to do better overall if you do decide to go into programming. These skills we're learning right now directly transfer to paid work that you could be doing, you could be getting in the future. All right, we're not looking at Shakespeare. I don't know how many people will go for Shakespeare jobs. I've got a degree in geography and information technology. Which one do you think I'm able to get a job in? It's IT. Okay, I'm an arts teacher, humanities, but I'm also a tech teacher. So it's important to understand that these skills are really important. The more you pay attention, the more you push yourself today, the better the benefits are going to be in the long term. It compounds. And I'm happy to explain that later. But let's continue. All right. So we have our enemy, but our enemy doesn't move. So we're going to do that today. So you need to click on your enemy, make sure everything is organized. I'm just going to double check to make sure the audio is on, because I already recorded this at midnight and there was no audio, and I was like, oh my goodness. Anyway, so I've done that before. I'll probably continue doing that. So we're going to click on our enemy here, go add component, and type in new script. We're going to add a new script, and it's going to be called enemy controller. So your enemy controller script will look blank. It's not going to look anything like this. So just delete everything and just type in there public float look radius is equal to, let's go 50. Excellent. Once you've done that, we're just going to write a little bit more code here. Void on draw gizmos selected. This is a function, and we're going to go gizmos dot color equals to color dot red semicolon gizmos dot draw wire sphere. Oh, I can't spell wire sphere transform dot position. Now what that's doing is we want to be able to see how big this radius is going to be. So that way! What we're going to do. Hello! All right. Can you turn that down a little bit? So what we're doing essentially is we want to double check to make sure that on our scene that the radius isn't too big. We want to be able to test this enemy AI that we're building. So what we're going to do is if the player gets too close to the enemy is going to chase. Otherwise, it's going to move to the chair. So we need to double check to see what that looks like. So, semicolon is missing. Saving. Hurry up. Good switch. So slow, man. Alright. You can hear my daughter in the background. She is very excited about Banana in Pajamas. Alright, so now we can see this red sphere here, which is excellent. If we change the look radius to 250, it changes as well. So we can make this radius as big or small as we want. It shouldn't be like 10. We need to, be able to trigger it without dying. So let's just stick with 150. Awesome. Let's save that. Go back to our script. Now go public float move speed. So we're going to add a speed that allows us to control the what's it called? The enemy speed. Public float gravity. We're just going to add gravity. We'll change gravity later, but we'll just add that for the time being. Minus 9.8 F. There we go. Public character. And make sure you spell everything the same way. And also, upper and lower cases are really important. This is a time when you can literally copy what the teacher is doing. Word for word, letter for letter. Velocity, semicolon. And then transform, target, semicolon, transform, can't spell, spawn, and we're going to go on void start. We're going to say what the target is, so it's going to be the player, and we're going to also tell what the spawn point is, or what do we want the enemy to move towards. Player manager dot instance dot player dot transform, and then same for spawn point equals to enemy manager. I know we wrote a little bit, so you might need to pause what we wrote, and that's fine if you need to do that. Semicolon. Okay, fantastic. Now that you have written that, it's going to have some error here. What have I written wrong? Line 15 with a capital T. So make sure you fix that up. The first thing you need to do now is with your enemy, add character controller. So you just click on enemy, add component, character controller. We've already got one, so that's fine. And then controller here in your enemy controller script. You probably can't see your enemy controller script yet. Let me just see what happens if I change that. Let's just pretend, some of you probably won't be able to see that quite yet. So let's go to Game Manager. We're going to, on the hierarchy, right click, and we're going to create an empty object here and call it Game Manager. What we're going to do is, instead of having all of our different objects and some of our really important variables and all our different scripts, we're going to have a game manager that's going to manage everything. What that allows us to do, it allows us to change it once and update all the scripts, compared to having to change 100 scripts 100 different ways, just making it less spaghetti code, which is quite important. So we got Game Manager here. We're going to add 2 new scripts. One new script is going to be called Player Manager. So let's create that Player Manager right now. So just write what's there. And that's going to keep a record of what is our player. Make sure you spell everything correctly. Excellent. Once you've done that, we're going to add a new component, a new script, enemy manager. And then write this for your enemy manager. Don't worry about that one. All right, fantastic. Once you have done that, it's saved. Make sure you save it. I've seen a number of times a couple of students will, work really hard and they'll be like, oh, it's not working. What's going on? Well, you have to save it. And then find for player manager, we want our player to be player. So find your player. You should have everything named correctly now. And your chair should be the spawn point or something similar to the chair if you don't want that to be a chair. Fantastic. You've done a great job. Now we're going to go back to our enemy controller here. And oh, I didn't like that. We are now going to go void update. So it's going to run every frame. That's what update means. And we're going to see if we can get the character just to move forward. Do you guys reckon we can do it? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Which one should we do? Just go vector 3 move equals to transform dot forward. Then controller dot move times by move speed times by time dot delta time. Excellent. Once you've done that, save it. Go back to your enemy script. In controller here, click on that little circle again and type in, put in enemy. Oops. If you can't see enemy, make sure you've got character controller. Okay, let's have a look. Is it going to move forward? Oh, so suspenseful. It looks quite slow, doesn't it? But we can tell that it's moving here. Excellent. So this is really exciting stuff. Now, let's add in a condition here so that if player is close enough, vector 2, it will then chase or look at the player. Position target dot position. Less or equals to look radius. Transform dot look at target, and then transform dot look at spawn point semicolon. Excellent. Now just save it. I'm going to bring the enemy down a bit. We haven't added gravity yet, so it's probably going to be well. See, it's going to the chair now. It's going a bit too slow for me. I'm just going to speed it up. Now let's see. If I move close enough, it should look at the player. Oh, there we go. And then go back. Now it's going too fast. If I move out of the way, it should then look back at the chair. Excellent. So it's working great-ish. Let's fix that up a bit. Let's add physics. All right, it's fun when we add physics. So let's go velocity dot y plus or equals to gravity times by time dot delta time. Controller dot move velocity times by time dot delta time semicolon. Alright, so what we've done there now is we're changing the y velocity, we're bringing it back down. So let's have a look what happens now. Whoa. See, now it's, there we go, excellent. Now yours might be slightly, very slightly, actually levitating. The way we can fix that up is just double click on your enemy here. Change the height. So right now, obviously it's going to fall, but if it's not touching the ground after it's fallen, change the height to 0. Change the box collider as well. Oh no, sorry, change just the center to just higher. Just play around with it. It might be 0.5 For you, it might be 1. You know, it's not going to be 10. So just play around with that number, with whatever works for you. Play around with the Y and the height to find what works best. Excellent. We're going to fix up one final thing, and that is just when the angle, preventing the the enemy from going up or down like that, because it can look just a bit odd. So let's fix that up. Vector 3 Euler angles equals to transform dot rotation dot Euler angles. Euler angles is equal to new vector 3 0 Euler angles dot y. So all we're doing is just preventing the enemy from looking up and down. They can look to the left and right, but they can't look up and down. Some of the characters I saw were breakdancing when we had this on. So once you fix this, you probably won't have any of your enemies breakdancing, which I think is a good thing or a bad thing. It's up to you. All right, excellent. So that's all we've done today. We've learned quite a bit. We've learned how to make our enemy move. We've built some very basic enemy AI, and also we're using manager scripts now so that we can make things really efficient and work well. So fantastic work. Next class we'll be learning about how to spawn characters, and also just jumping if you haven't yet quite figured out how to do that. So fantastic. Great work.